When people say, how did you build this overnight success of Spartan? I say, first of all, it wasn't an overnight success. I've been working on this for 17 years. So if that's overnight, that's news to me. It's cost an absolute fortune, but I think we're very authentic, and I think I'm very accessible, and so are other members of the team, and I think we'll go above and beyond. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of competition in every business environment around the globe, and the way you beat your competition is by out-servicing them, out-producing them, being authentic, being legitimate, and we do all that. And by the way, it never ends. So just when we're patting ourselves in the back and say, great job today, it starts all over tomorrow. And no one cares what happened yesterday. We have tremendous loyalty with this brand, and the reason that exists is, one, the authenticity. We're not going to do things that aren't authentic to this brand. And don't forget the history. This brand is over 2,000 years old. It was not started by us, and we remain very focused on making sure we don't screw it up. And so I think that's why consumers are so attracted to it. And by the way, who wouldn't want to be a Spartan? There's not a person on this planet that wouldn't want to be a Spartan. It doesn't matter what culture we interact with. We go anywhere in the world, they know the history of the Spartans. And you know, it's not just military. It's 75-year-old grandmothers. It's 7-year-old kids. Everybody wants to be a Spartan. And this is true before we existed. So as long as we don't screw up the brand and we remain authentic, and you know, we do really good customer service. We pride ourselves on that. Sure, we screw things up like lots of companies, but we're not afraid to admit we make a mistake and go back and fix things. And so as long as we do all those things, I think we'll continue to succeed. The digital channels really drive loyalty. And the way the digital channels do that is it gives us instant access to a giant community around the globe, right? We've got 1.3 million unique visitors coming to our website every month. We've got 5 million plus Facebook fans. The lookalike audience around the globe is tremendous. And so how would we do it without very sophisticated digital channels that give us instant access to those consumers? So, you know, whether it's email, whether it's social channels, whether it's digital ads, whatever it is, we're using technology like Rakuten to talk to that consumer the way they want to be spoken to. We would assume our audience wants to be spoken to all the same way if you were looking at it afar, but the reality is there are probably 8 different kinds of people within our audience, and it's not just age-driven, it's the way they think about health and wellness and how they would interact with Spartan. And so if you don't talk to them the right way, or you blanket talk to them all the same way, you end up losing consumers. You lose their interest, and you lose them for good. So we've had to learn to talk to them the way they want to be spoken to, in the channels that they want to be spoken to. So the way we discover how our consumers want to be spoken to and where they want to be spoken to is focus groups. But one of the things I did very early on was I give my email address to everyone, and my wife wants to kill me for this, but I literally will talk to 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 people when there's some issue within the social channels or something we have going on, because I want to get into their minds. I want to know exactly how that person is thinking about us and thinking about their interaction with us. And I'll find out who they are, where they live. And so it's a lot of that, and I encourage the team to do that, but it's also focus groups. And then whatever we can gather just with data. I mean, we're very data-driven, or we attempt to be very data-driven, and so the digital environment today is a lot different than 30 years ago, right? You would plaster a flyer in somebody's door and they may or may not respond. Well, now we get to A/B test everything real time. The difficulty with digital advertising, difficulty is there are so many moving parts, and the environment is changing so quickly that it becomes challenging, even for a company our size, 250 plus people around the globe, 35 people dedicated to digital marketing and digital in general. You've got to have your ear to the ground. You've got to know what your consumers are thinking at all times, and you've got to talk to them the way they want to be spoken to. And that makes it challenging. It's very, very tactical. Even with the greatest strategies, it's a very, it's like shoveling sand all day, every day, and you got to be proficient at it. I think digital marketing for us is much more challenging than building courses on the sides of mountains around the globe in the snow, even in places like Hungary or Saudi Arabia in the sand. And that's simply because when you're building a course, right, you've got the thing laid out on a map, the trucks roll in, you grab a screw gun, it's pretty simple to execute. Digital marketing, we can come up with the greatest strategy today, and tomorrow the environment changes, and maybe conversions aren't working as well on a certain channel. We face challenges all day, every day. A gentleman named Stephen Pressfield, who wrote Gates of Fire, preeminent expert on Sparta, said to me, every day we all face resistance. And so being Spartan is accepting that we're going to face resistance, times are going to be tough, but smiling in the face of it. It's not the obstacle you face, it's how you react to it.